Yeah. And I remember the last time I was there, was when I was a kid, bro. And and I remember seeing, this is one thing that I kinda fought with a lot until he explained it to me, but I remember seeing food trucks everywhere. Food trucks galore. I'll show you a picture of my grandma's ranch, but in order to get to the front entrance, you had to bypass the whole ranch, and then you got to the front gate, right? From where we're coming from. I remember just seeing food trucks everywhere. And I was with all the food trucks. When I get to the front gate, I see these 2 huge guys, like 7 feet tall, and I'm walking up to them. Jesus tells him, "Hey, Mike, Gabriel, come and meet Joe." Bro. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. Yeah, Joe's thinking about it, bro. And I was just like super like, I'm walking with Jesus. You just called these 2 huge
Yeah.
people Michael and Gabriel. So then I remember like, like Michael? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a police officer, right? The patron saint of police officers is Saint Michael, the archangel, right? I have a patch of Saint Michael on my police badge, bro. So I'm like, "The Michael?" And I'm like, "Hey, Joe, thank you for, I'm glad you're here. We've been waiting for you." And I'm there like, my mind is like, "Am I dead?" I kept asking, like, "Did I die?" Like, I know I had sleep apnea a couple years ago. Maybe that finally caught up with me and killed me or something like like what's going on here, right? So, eventually they take me to the food trucks. And I'm like, "Wow, so many food trucks." And I remember seeing a taco truck, an Indian food truck, a raspa truck, and we're walking down the aisles of all the food trucks, and there's like a huge pachanga, bro. Music everywhere, lights, stadium lights everywhere. And then I turned and I saw my mom. I saw my jefita, bro. And when I saw her, my eyes locked because I'm like, oh, if I wake up, like I need to make sure I remember this, right? And I remember I kept looking and walking at her, and then when I realized that she was close enough, I threw myself on her, and I felt her like my mom was gordita. I felt her. I felt everything, her shirt, her hair. My mom had real curly hair, and her voice. I remember tripping out because her voice sounded the same. It sounded exactly the same, and so yeah, man. So then I remember talking to my mom, and she told me some stuff, man, that I needed to hear. You know what I'm saying? And then I remember connecting all of the things that I experienced through her to Jesus. And I remember looking back and she was like, "No, you're okay. Keep talking." Like, and I was talking. I was like, "Okay, I'm still good. I'm still good." So then I remember halfway there, Jesus was like, "Okay, well, look, I need to take you to go meet some more people. Let's keep walking." So I kept walking. We passed by a table, like a garden table. There's a bunch of like senoras there standing, eating. And I remember Jesus was like, "Hey, these are the 12, by the way."
No way.
Bro, yes, bro. And I remember
The
that
12,
the
like,
12. Yeah.
disciples?
And so what tripped me out was I love the show The Chosen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
they look nothing like that, by the way.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
no,
Yeah, 100%.
yeah, these were like senores, and like they were older, and I remember one of them saying, like, "Hey, Jote, I'm glad you're here." He said, and I'm there like my mind's being blown, right? And then I turn and I see my grandmother. And my grandmother, I haven't really talked too much about her, but my grandmother was raised with us. She lived in this house with us. And I lost her during COVID. So I got to see my grandma. But me and my grandma had like a awesome relationship. Like she was like my friend. Like we would joke around all the time. So seeing her was like, "Oh, grandma, what's up?" Like it was a different kind, right?
Yeah,
It was a different feeling for sure. So I saw my grandma and I was like, "Grandma, this is your house?" And she's like, what's going on with your house? And we were going back and forth. Right? But she talked to me about a lot of me. My grandma passed away in June of 2020. I got COVID in July of 2020. And bro, I almost thought I was gonna die. Like it was bad. But I always had a feeling like when I made it, like I feel like my grandma had something to do with that. I had just lost my grandma. I always had that question, like I wonder if my grandma had something to do with that. So I got to ask her, like, "Grandma, by any chance?" And she's just like, "Yes." And that's what I did. That's I told Jesus that I think you had more in you, and yeah, we pulled through for you because we knew that there was something bigger for you. Bro. So I thought that was like, oh man, that's so cool. Like I was real fun. So and we kept Jesus like, okay, I got one more person to show you. When Jesus said that, mind you, my mind was blown. I'm talking to Jesus. I just saw my grandma. I just saw my mom. I saw the 12. I saw Mike and
Yeah.
Gabriel, all these food trucks. My grandma's ranch looked different. Like my mind was so blown. All of a sudden, where's my daughter? And like a rush of like, oh, my daughter's here. Take me to my daughter. I need to see my daughter. So Jesus is like, okay, but are you sure you're ready for it? And like, yes, I'm like, and he's like, okay. One thing I learned from God is you have to leave it to him. He'll show you when he thinks you're ready. So I had to learn to at that moment, I was like, I took a step back, like, okay, am I ready to see my daughter? And then he's like, yes, let's go. So as soon as I turned, I saw her. And it was like a beautiful, looked identical to my son, a little white, beautiful dress, bouncy, curly little hair, blonde just like my grandma. And her voice was like angelic. She's like, "Hey, daddy." Like I heard it perfectly, bro, perfectly. And I got same thing when I saw her. I was more locked in than even my mom because I'm like, okay, there's a good chance I'm gonna wake up here because this is too much. And I'm looking at her, and I'm like, man, you look like your mom. And I remember feeling her little arms, her waist, her. I have a thing with calves, so like when my son was born, I touched his calves. When my daughter was born, I touched her calves. I went straight to her calves, and I could feel like the skin, like I could smell the hair, everything, and I remember just holding her, yeah. And we had a full blown conversation, and I remember a lot of what she told me was, "Go back and tell mom this. Go back and tell mom this." And she told me herself, God sent me to save you. I said, I was sent to save you. I had a purpose. So that was everything in the world, bro. And then after that, Jesus is like, okay, we need to keep going. There's one more thing I want to show you.